Hi, my name is Antonio Conway, and I'm an advanced grief recovery method specialist. I believe that it is no coincidence that you are listening to this video. And I just want to validate your courage to delve into the issue of healing from loss, from hurt, from grief, from emotional pain. I want to tell you about my story, my experience with the grief recovery method. Now, I'm a clinical mental health counselor, and I specialize in addiction counseling. I was raised to believe in God. In fact, I teach at a university in a counseling department, but none of those things in and of themselves was enough to help me deal with the emotional pain that I was going through from losses in my life. I learned through the grief recovery method that there are over 40 different types of losses, both tangible and intangible. The death of a loved one, the loss of a career, the loss of a pet, the loss of a relationship, the loss of freedom, the loss of time, the loss of innocence. There are over 40 different types of losses, many of which I experienced. In fact, I learned through the grief recovery method that there were losses in my life that I felt, but that I had never given a voice to. And so if I never gave a voice to it, I could never really deal with it. The greatest of these losses, the most significant loss in my life to date, has been the loss of a relationship with my son. I had a broken heart as a result. I learned through the grief recovery method that I developed a relationship with the pain of this loss. Oftentimes, what happens is that when we can no longer have the relationship with a person or thing that we once had the relationship with, we will have a tendency to substitute that relationship for a relationship with the pain from that loss. And that is exactly what I did. Not only that, but to be completely honest, I was very protective of my pain. I had a relationship with this pain, so it would only make sense that I'll be protective of it. When people wanted to talk to me about it, I didn't want to talk about it. Even my wife, I shied away. In fact, there is an unfortunate saying in today's world that says real men don't cry. What do? They go to work. And that's exactly what I did. I wasn't addressing my emotions. In my mind, I had worked out a way of how I could deal with this, but I would do it by myself, alone, with no help, with no intervention, right? And even when people tried to help me, or at least offer to help me, no, I was protective of that pain. That pain was mine and mine alone to bear. It's unfortunate because I had an emotionally incomplete relationship with the pain of that loss. The grief recovery method taught me that when I'm emotionally incomplete because of a loss in my life, that this affects other relationships in my life as well. It spills over into those other relationships. And that's exactly what was happening to me. Now, I didn't believe at all that the grief recovery method could help me. I didn't. I'm just going to be totally honest. And this is why I'm so grateful. Because as I went through the grief recovery method, I experienced an emotional freedom that I had not experienced in over 20 years. I was able to end the relationship with the pain of that loss. I didn't have to live like that. I learned that. And so I'm here because I want to encourage you. I want to invite you to join me. My goal is to help as many people as possible to experience this emotional freedom that I experienced. Maybe your story isn't like mine, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be. You have your own story of grief and loss, of hurt, of trauma, of emotional pain. Doesn't matter who you are. Let me tell you right now, you deserve emotional freedom. Mom, dad, auntie, uncle, brother, sister, doesn't matter who you are. The relationships that you have with the people that you love, they also deserve for you to be emotionally free because that's the only way that you can be the best version of yourself. You deserve this. Dealing with the loss of a relationship with my son was only the beginning. Let me tell you, this has been a tremendous journey. As I mentioned before, the grief recovery method taught me that I had so many losses that I had never dealt with. I never labeled them as a loss. I never thought about it like that. I had never even spoken about most of them. So it's a journey. It was only the beginning dealing with the relationship with my son. I want to invite you to come along on this journey with me. Let's heal and let's grow together.